support is good, but you're really picking it to get value out of the carries, and I think the CERN doesn't appreciate it. Kiermy looking for Nika, not taking too much damage yet, and here comes Lasbra.
Gotta wait for Lasbra's help there. Nika with the double tap.
The Marti Cross players, I think he does do great damage late game, but unfortunately at the moment you have to be able to kill Fire Giant to really get that. I mean, it's the EFG that's important, right? I think regular Fire Giant at this point is severely overlooked by some teams. They'll go for it, of course, but I think if you're not in a winning position, you're not even contesting that Fire Giant because you realize it's not as worth. If you die for it, then you can lose your life, and you know the siege after just doesn't really make sense. So at this point, Marti Cross does not bring that shred for objectives. He's going to win you team fights, but he's not going to be able to kill. And now Stewart is going to lose those beads very early on. You walk up to lane. You only need to kill one minion to get to level 2, which means you don't want to step up unless you can guarantee kill that one minion.
Root on the vote, stunned by inbound. The acid rain as well would put some good poke on the Cernanos, but that was Stewart's primary wave clear used just to poke and try and back away the Jade Dragons in the duo. Lasbra getting a little aggressive in the mid, and back to the duo. Stewart body blocks good by inbound to keep Stu alive. Even going as far as using the horrific emblem by Mike to try and get that kill. Just a little too big of a body in this Kabrakan to find a pick on a Stu. Maybe one on a Snoopy, but level 3 means flicker for Merlin. He'll be in no danger as well.
And the Gladiators getting pushed back at the moment. Kiermy does make the rotation over towards shield, but recognizes that Lasbra has left mid, and it's just going to back away. A lot of damage, a lot of CC, a lot of lockdown here for the Jade Dragons, and Kiermy has Blink. So you don't want to get caught out by, you know, a Cobra's Kiss into the silence combo if PBM is able to back forward. So I think a smart call by Kiermy just to submit that buff and say, hey, I'm going to look for farm elsewhere. We grab right mid camps. It's not as big of a loss as, you know, losing your life because of some crazy CC over on left lane. But I expect to see inbound and Stewart underneath the tower for at least a little bit. Stewart needs a bit more itemization before he can full clear the way with his combo, and because of that, he doesn't have beads, so he has to fear every single time PBM's cooldowns are available. This Nox is threatening. Stewart's got to stay back.
70 seconds until those beads are back and available for Stewart, which means we could see an invade here. Mike is going to at least get the smalls of this camp. He'll walk away and leave the larger of the Cyclops there, but every little bit counts when your dual lane is already starting to bleed out a little bit. As in the case of Stewart and inbound, removing any form of XP between them and Kiermy to maybe dampen his rotational power as well in the early game. And talking to Kiermy a little bit before, he said he was very excited to be able to play with some of the former Bug Boys on the Scarabs. Remember, every single member aside from Kiermy on the Gladiators was part of the Solar Scarabs roster at some point in Season 9, so some of them getting to play with each other maybe a little bit longer than others. But at that same time, Kiermy comes from a very oddball style of team for the Valkyries. It took a little while for that team to truly find some form of identity.
Are we calling them oddballs now?
Kind of for their picks more than anything. Not
okay,
the people themselves. Their oddball pick style
yeah,
of team. That's a better way to word it.
I do agree with that.
But now, you know, talking with him at the beginning, says that he feels that this team's kind of identity is this early game aggression. Just haven't had an opportunity to see it just yet.
They have not. They have been early game aggressed upon here by the Jade Dragons, who are able to get some wave pressure over and left consistently, but since then Lasbra has not been able to find a gank. I think that once you finish that Transcendence, it's not a very early thwarted item, right? You look towards Jotun's Wrath, you look towards a possible Crusher, those sort of starts are like, hey, we want to get active, we want to fight. Transcendence tells me you're going to sit back, you want to farm it up, you want to get your stacks online, and because of that, you're not going to look to get too aggressive. You see Lasper coming over, and you got to think inbound's in trouble, but it looks like he's going to go back on her tower, not really fight for that shield buff, and Kiermy might be getting aggressed upon.
Kiermy, ult is available for Lasbra, just trying to catch him out. Will do so, throws him right to the silence and locks him in place for Mike. Fear no evil by Kiermy to try and escape, but Mike's got the death ball, and that will strike first blood for the Jade Dragons.
That was clean play by PBM. Look at him laughing. He knows what he just did. Silence combo through the wall, and then lands the ultimate just to confirm. Lasper held it for such a long time, too. You saw he goes Cobra Kiss, Deathbane, does some damage, pops the poison, then looks at himself and says, am I going to ult immediately, or am I going to wait until my support shows up? in the off chance that he hits the combo, and of course he does through the wall to confirm that one. Clean pay from the Jade Dragons, and first blood going to the support on the Nox.
Making sure to get the Jade Dragons at least a little bit of advantage, not only in the jungle, but also getting Mike just a little further ahead, and that is balloon the lead up to a 1K start so far for the Jade Dragons. XP as well starting to push in their favor. A little bit ahead for Nika and for PBM, the frontliners of the Jade Dragons, and on some pretty potent picks as well. Even talking with Mike kind of as the season was starting up, we get to see him a little bit during the kickoff tournament. I remember how Mike was saying, if it's annoying, you better bet I'm probably going to be playing it as much as I can this season. Nox has snuck her way back up into the support god pool, so no surprise seeing that Mike is going to be piloting this one as often as he can.
And that just goes to show the mindset, right? At this point, Mike is sitting around purple buff. He's just getting some extra stacks on Prophetic Cloak. I was wondering if he's going to go for the invade, but it looks like it should be pulled underneath tower. Mike can't go.
The self-proclaimed stack differ of the kickoff tournament as well.
I mean, he was really good at stacking Prophetic Cloak. And again, if you missed last set, where the Camelot Kings were able to go in, I'm not going to leak names, but I think Mike's got no problem saying, the second that we saw the backdoor start to come through, someone on the Jade Dragon said, oh my gosh, they're so cringe. And Mike said, it's not cringe, they're playing to win. If it's cringe, you know I'm going to do it. So that's just Mike's style, man. He's playing the Nox, he's being annoying, and he's consistently getting his team pressure. Has the only kill on the map so far. And not for lack of trying. I think that Lasper has been, sort of throwing a weak line out. Kirmi has not been looking to get aggressive at the slightest. That ultimate has been just sitting, ready to be used, but hasn't sent it out just yet. And look at the dueling. I mean, you see Vote dashing onto Stewart at the tower line. Inbound is constantly running away. The Gilded Gladiators, for, as you said, an early aggressive team, which I tend to agree that is the way they like to play, have not been aggressive at all.
You think that this pick for Inbound was maybe to try and counter a little bit of what Mike and Vote go for? Remember when you pop that first ability, you get root immunity? Maybe think it's a little bit of mind games trying to say, okay, well, if they're going for a heavy root style of dual lane, while the Kraken may also be just a good pick in general, you think maybe that was on the mind of Inbound to not be caught out so many times by having that first ability active?
It's possible. I think that, countering the enemy support is good, but you're really picking it to get value out of the carries, and I think the CERN doesn't appreciate it. Kirmi looking for Nika, not taking too much damage yet, and here comes Lasbra.
Gotta wait for Lasbra's help there. Nika with the double tap of the boulder and a push after. Go for the pickup after on top of that one. Kirmi trying to fight back in, but it is too little, too late. He will walk to the tower, and Lasbra will grab that one. 3 up now for the Jade Dragons, 1 across the board on their players.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Nika looked like he knew that play was coming. If you looked at his player cam, he was just waiting for the double tap into the driving strike. I thought at the very least Lasper was going to have to show up before that kill would come through. This Hercules pick with Sigil and Golden Blade. This isn't even like the Sundering Axe Kadusha shield build. This is just, I'm doing no damage. I'm trying to clear waves. That Hercules passive is dangerous. Nika lives, gets the kill, and then Lasper is able to clean it up. So far, the Gilded Gladiators have not been able to find any bit of success. I like the attempt, though. It's just unfortunately Lasper was there. I mean, the ward coverage was good. The Jade Dragons, they know what you're doing before you even know.
Stewart under fire as well as Inbound. Vote 1 auto away from grabbing that kill. Use the Wild Hunt in combo with PBM's ultimate. Nearly takes down the support of the Gilded Gladiators. But Inbound able to sneak away from that last auto. That would have put the nail in his coffin. Now PBM snatching the purple buff away, taking it from the Gilded Gladiators. Lazar will walk over to make sure that one can be invaded and taken away. And now the Jade Dragons, with their 3 kills, Charlie, we're already sitting at nearly 3,000 gold ahead, 3,500 XP. This is getting out of control fast for the Dragons.
It is. And the next question becomes, what do the Gilded Gladiators do to try and stop this? And I think they're going to have to start building up rotations that aren't worth it, in the sense of we're going to have to send 3 over to try and kill Nika, or 3 over to try and kill Vote. You're going to be losing farm across the map, but you need to find some way to get some pressure over in lane. It's not going to be an objective fight. Not with a deficit like this. You're going to have to, stack the odds in your favor. And at this point, Inbound and Kirmi are sticking together. It's already a good look. But who are you going to find? Wrap around here from Lasbra. Vote's also circling around. It looks like they might just forfeit this. I thought they were going to go for an ambush here. But it looks like they're more concerned with Snoopy, who's going to have to go back over to underneath his tower.
Snoopy just out of the clutches of death there from the rotation by the Dragons. Dual lane. Thought for a moment maybe Inbound would go back with Stu, but it will just be Stewart heading back to base. Typically we've been seeing a lot of Bloodforge in second slot for these Martys. Get that Transcendence, then get your Bloodforge, you have your Sustain, but it's not opting for what I imagine will be a Crusher. Seems to be one of the calls of the build. Invade at blue. Scary D unsuccessful in grabbing his buff. Uses ultimate to stun out Lasbra, but just no follow-up because of the distraction that's been posed on the right side of the map. The Gladiators are unaware that the Gold Fury is being taken by the Jade Dragons. Only now when the sound effect goes out do the Gladiators even realize what was happening. A little slow on their response to get over to the Pyromancer. Dardas is already here to stop this one out. Jade Dragons just sneak a major objective.
Yeah, this game is clinical. I think Stu might have been onto something going on. He sort of stepped up towards his purple buff and then realized, I'm not safe here. Even my own purple buff, I'm not going to walk up that far, and decided not even to go check the Gold Fury. He's like, hey, they're probably on it, but there's no way. I want to step up. I want to keep my life. I want to make sure I'm getting my farm, and I'm not walking up to that Fury. A decent call to attempt the Pyro after, but unfortunately, it was just the duo lane. It was just PBM and Vote passing the Gold Fury back and forth. They didn't have to use Dardas' damage, so Dardas can go over to Pyromancer and make sure that doesn't go down. And I'd be willing to bet that Pyromancer is getting pulled right now once again, while Inbound's getting ganked.
Inbound goes for an invade by himself at purple. Questionable decision by the Gladiators support. Dragon start up the Pyromancer. Scary D and Snoopy here to sniff that one out. And fourth, the Dragons plans on grabbing yet another objective from under the nose of the Gladiators, but just a questionable decision at the very least for Inbound to walk up by himself to purple.
I think he's tired of sitting back and just kind of getting rolled through at the moment, so he wanted to try and force a fight. Doesn't work out, though. Lasbra was there, and that's what I'm talking about. The Jade Dragons are using the bare minimum of their resources to pull objectives. Like, it was just Mike and Vote at gold, and it was just Mike and Dardas, which means Lasbra can rotate over to punish Inbound with Vote's help. And now, PBM takes some damage, is not going to fall down, and Lasbra still wants to go in.
Lasbra finds the taunt onto Snoopy, doesn't even need the ultimate after, instead can save it for Kirmi if even necessary. Doesn't have it for this fight, actually. Kirmi slowed down, does get the blink. Inbound throws up a wall and a double stun after, and Nika is too late to find the pickup. PBM lives through that fight. Scary D's rotation over, not quite enough. Did anything for the Gilded Gladiators. Instead, is a single pick for the Jade Dragons.
That was some great CC there by Inbound. I think Kirmi could have got chased down or could have got his blink stopped at the very least if he doesn't hit the triple stun as well as the ult appeal for his jungler. So Kirmi lives to see another day. And as you said, if Lasbra had ultimate, I don't think Kirmi ever gets out there, but it just wasn't quite off cooldown yet. And Vote did make that rotation, so Stu was able to get some farm over in left lane at the very least. Martikros catches up, or is attempting to catch up XP-wise. Vote goes over to level 14, so isn't quite caught up, but it was looking a little bit worse for where those purple buffs were getting invaded consistently. And at the very least, Stewart might be able to trade with that Crusher damage before this Cernos finishes crit. And that's a big difference. If you can actually walk up and fight in your lane, and you don't have to hide underneath tower when you know it's a guaranteed 1v1, it makes your lane phase just a little bit easier.
Pyromancer by the Dragons. Nika is here to stop Kirmi, pushed him against the wall, and takes about a third of his HP. Set up for the Dragons to grab the Pyro. Fury, about a minute until it respawns back on the map. So the Jade Dragons now staggering the cooldown of the objectives. Continuing to push that lead. 4,500 gold, 5k XP. 2 levels in a couple of different roles, Charlie. Got 2 from the solo, the jungle, and the support all ahead pretty widely in a margin for the Jade Dragons.
Man, it seems like they're not going to stop anytime soon. You said it. You could already tell. The Jade Dragons were setting up on the left side of the map. They got Ward Vision down. They know Primal Fury is spawning in here shortly, and they're just getting ready for it. Nika doesn't quite have that teleport up. It's about 104 seconds off, so he's not going to be able to teleport over, but he's not heading over to right lane. He's heading back over to left. At the very least, Scary D has that timer as well. He's going to make his rotation over. And Inbound tries to set something up, but he might have just be dishing himself up for the team.
Does get pushed back into 3.
Good
Double
ult.
wall goes through, and Mike has landed the ultimate. Will dash into the middle of 3 and slow them all down with the emblem, but a Fear No Evil will separate this fight and push the Jade Dragons away. That opens up a path to escape for the Gilded Gladiators, but the Dragons will go right to the Primal Fury, now knowing that Kirby's initiation is gone. Maybe a bit more safety for the Dragons to set up around the objective.
I think that Inbound had a good wall there, but Snoopy was nowhere near. It seemed like the play was, hey, let's set up an ambush, but it just doesn't happen. Kirby has to end up using his ult defensively because there was no follow-up. Just seems like muffled comms here for the Gilded Gladiators. Wasn't a bad call. They just didn't execute on it, and now the Jade Dragons with Nika with the double push. Dishing up Inbound at the very least.
That's not how you want to start a fight out, or especially maybe even just coverage around the objective. Perfect double pickup by Nika to start that one through. And this is why we've been seeing so much Hercules. That displacement combo that Nika showcases for us here is exactly why it's been such a top contested pick in the picks and bans for just about every single team. But with that Primal Fury and with that kill, now 6 on the board for the Jade Dragons, 5,000 gold and climbing. And with Stewart pushed away from his tier 1 tower, just the threat of Lasbra in that dual lane has sent Stewart into the jungle and allows Vote freedom on this left side.
I mean, Vote's been untouched. At this point, I don't think he's taken much damage throughout the entirety of this game. Stewart's got a little forest going for himself with the stealth grass underneath his own tower, but he hasn't been able to rotate into these team fights, not yet. He's got a lot of gold in hand, though. He's been sitting on that Crusher for quite some time. I assume a full item, yeah, full Blood Forge purchased there for Stewart on the Marti Cross. So that could be an impact play if he's able to rotate in. He's got good ability damage. We haven't even seen this ultimate used offensively. It does good damage if you're able to hit it, and Lasbra is sitting around duo. He's just going to clear the wave, though. I was wondering if he was going to sit around and see if Stu would step up. He's not going to do that. All the relics are available, and he probably just trades ult for ult. Because of that, though, you got to wonder where Vote's at. He's in mid currently. There's no way they're pulling this.
Fire?
I mean, they are pulling it.
For the Jade Dragons, Scary D's behind the tier 1 tower. Inbound's on the way. As soon as he turns the corner, he sees the Ring of Fire, says, guys, the Jade Dragons are at fire. Inbound. Is he going to be able to make a play for this one? Has ultimate available. Silence before he can walk in. The Dragons get the Fire Giant and maybe one more. Inbound in the middle of 5. Stuns 3, but he's shoved against the wall and put in the dirt by the Jade Dragons. Killing spree for Lasbra and Fire Giant for the squad.
And unfortunately, that's a play you have to make. When you see Fire Giants being done at 17 minutes, you got to step up and try and go for the steal. Beautiful CC. PBM and Lasbra just chain it together perfectly. And then you're just dead as a Cabrakan. You hope your team can get some farm in the meantime. You saw Kirmi and Stewart group up on left, push down to tier 1, and now grouped up in right. I would say a man down, but Lasbra still is over left, so it's a 4v4 underneath the tier 2 tower. Are they going to even try to defend, or are they just going to let it get whittled down? Kirmi's hovering in the jungle. Has Fear No Evil, but doesn't have an opportunity to go in yet.
Yeah, Stewart's got decent range damage to keep the minions at bay under tower, but Pyromancer once more for the Dragons. Lasbra's got 1 Runic Bomb in pocket. Mike should be able to pick this one up. And now put 2 for the Dragons. Still 5 towers on the map. Lot of free gold just in the permanent structures for the Dragons to work with. Inbound. Getting a bit costed up against the Dragons right now has been the primary target for the Dragons to try and bully out. Have found 3 picks onto him so far. Nearly could have been a 4th one there had the knockup connected from Nika.
This is a slower Fire Giant because it's so early. 19 minutes into the game, despite your lead, you do have to back up a little bit. PBM gets caught out with the Fear No Evil. This should be the first kill of the game, and Kirmi's able to grab that one for the Gilded Gladiators, that is. But what do you do in the meantime? I don't know, get dished up by Nika into the tower?
Bound stunned by Dardes. Transformation from Snoopy. Nika half HP, but Lasbra has shown up to the fight. Finds the double kiss. The knockup just off the mark from pulling Scary T back in. That Tallow Assault. The only reason he doesn't get pulled back into the clutches of the Dragons. Mike falling for the first time this game. The first Dragons member to fall up against the Gilded Gladiators. has slowed them down. Fire Giant buff, only another 50 seconds. But Charlie, is that enough from the Gladiators? They show up, they find their one pick on Mike, and they at least halt some of the momentum of the Dragons.
You slow down the Fire Giant push. A smart call. 40 seconds or so left on the buff. So what can the Jade Dragons do in the meantime? It seems like set up for Oni Fury. That's about it. They're not going to push these tier 1 towers, or the last tier 1 tower rather, over on left, or any of the tier 2s that are still available. They're just going to grab this Oni Fury for themselves. And that's, I think that's best case scenario when you get a Fire Giant this early, is you break down all the towers that you can go for. And in this case, that was about as much as they're willing to push for. But the Gilded Gladiators are getting farm on the opposite side of the map, so the Jade Dragons can keep pushing. They're able to grab the tier 1, probably the tier 2 over on left, unless the Gilded Gladiators decide to make some form of defense. They're rotating over now. They realize, hey, they might end up going with a push even without Fire Giant, and they have to set up something. I don't think the Jade Dragons want to force this, but they are standing by.
3 and 4, Snoopy. Snoopy gets tagged by a bit of damage there. Lasbra working on a tier 2 tower in mid. Scary D trying to zone him away, but there's not much that Scary D can do. Lasbra does find the taunt and quickly dashes out. So he'll be out of the fight for the time being. Tier 2 in mid plus every other tier 1 tower off the map as well, as the Jade Dragons sweep up some of that gold for themselves. But Fire Giant respawning in 20 seconds. If you're the Gladiators here, obviously with no major threat towards your Phoenixes, you could try and step up for fire, but instead it's the Dragons trying to find a pick towards the Gladiators. Unsuccessful in finding inbound the first time, maybe second time's the charm. Wall leaves Dardes on the side of inbound, but it's only Dardes there, so no further fallout from the Dragons.
Fire Giant spawns in, though. And the Jade Dragons are going to have to make their mark over on the right side of the map and get some vision down. Currently, there's no wards around the objective. So this would be a decent opportunity for the Gilded Gladiators to set up and, you know, sit around a corner, wait with the Fear No Evil locked and loaded. They're not going to do that. They're pushing over left. It looks like they value farm more than the play of trying to fight. And with the deficit they're facing right now, probably a smart call. I don't think they'd be able to get a clean pick and make it out safely. It's just too much damage. So Fire Giant started up once again, as we expected. The Gilded Gladiators are going to keep farming. They're going to try and grab some tier 2s. But Dardes and Lasbra are nowhere near this Fire Giant. The Jade Dragons were so confident no one was going to show up.
Just let vote.
They just sent them gone. They said, yeah, vote in PBM. You guys grab fire. Nika will be around if we need him.
Wow.
But that's as free as they come. That's the second Fire Giant of the game at 22 minutes. And this time the Jade Dragons should be looking at the tier 2 towers.
Well, the Gladiators, they get a tier 1 tower for Fire Giant, Charlie. I'm no mathematician, but I wouldn't say that that's very worthwhile.
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good?
Yeah, I got you.
For the Dragons,
yeah.
though, right?
Yeah, because I'm a mathematician. So
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So worthwhile for the Jade Dragons, not so much for the Gilded Gladiators. Now, Gladiators on base defense. How does their defense even look up against a squad like the Dragons?
Well, Snoopy's got good clear, and I think Inbound has the ability to lock in some of these tanks if they're getting, you know, aggressed on by the Phoenix. That's their best option. Stewart, we still have not seen him ult. I think he hasn't ulted yet this game. So I'm excited to see how much damage Martikraz's ultimate does with 3.5 items online. But it's still not good. You got to CC the tank and hope your Phoenix helps you out. That's your best option here for the Gladiators. And if the Jade Dragons play it smart, which so far they have been, they're splitting up the team fight. They're trying to send Kirmi over with Lasbra in mid, and Vote is sort of playing middleman, trying to see where he can get his damage off.
Tries to go for Kirmi, a couple of crits.
What?
Dash after with it, my God, Vote. And Lasbra just removed Kirmi off the map, and that simplifies the siege for the Dragons. Now they can split the map however they please. A couple more crits, this time onto Scary D. Wild Hunt used by Vote, a Runic Bomb. Make that 2 Runic Bombs down, mid-Phoenix gone. Jade Dragons, they can go immediately to the right side.
They will, and that right side bird is going to drop just as quickly. They don't have the double Runic Bombs, but no contention here from the Gilded Gladiators. So that's 2 Phoenixes, but they still have a tier 1 tower to go through, and Inbound's going to aggress here.
He's got a good wall, but there's just no follow. Finally, Stewart goes to the sky, but only hits Nika with the ultimate. Let me tell you, Charlie, that was not a whole lot of damage thrown towards Nika.
I saw 15s. I think 15, some 11s, and that was probably the Bluestone tick. You're right, not a lot of damage there. You don't have that Heartseeker online yet, it would have been a big difference maker, but either way, they find a good aggressive play there from Inbound. The wall was there, but it was just too little too late. It seems like the Gilded Gladiators sort of make a mental note. All right, we gotta stand up for ourselves. We gotta look for a fight here, and they go for it. It's just too late. The birds are already gone. The Jade Dragons don't have to stick around and fight you anymore, so they're able to retreat, get some more gold, take another Primal Fury, and then look towards this last tier 2 over on left.
Single tier 2 and a single Phoenix left for the Gladiators. The Dragons continue to expand their lead. 12,000 gold and climbing for the Jade Dragons. XP mattering less and less as this game goes on as players start to hit that level 20 mark. The Dragons, I mean, almost every single person is nearly a full item up, or at least a starter item ahead of their opposition. Makes it difficult for the Gladiators to step in. And I wanted to see what a base defense could look like from the Gilded Gladiators, and we saw it on the left side in the 3v3 on left. As you claimed, and as we saw, Snoopy able to easily clear those waves out, but Kirby steps a hair too far forward, and Lasbro and Vote immediately collapse on and make a non-existent siege.
I'm 90% sure that Kirby got turned around by the Cobra's Kiss and jumped in instead of out. He was supposed to be jumping towards his own base, but because he got turned around, he was just spamming jump and got 180'd and jumped in at that point, because there's no way he wanted to jump towards Vote. I don't know that. I think Lasbro probably had the damage to finish that kill regardless, but still, doesn't matter at this point. The siege is done. And one more Fire Giant spawns in. 26 minutes in, J-Meg, would you expect we're on our third Fire Giant of the game?
No, I would not. And I know that this thing even spawns in 10 minutes. But the fact that we are on kill number 3 of it gives you a nice momentum shift, or at least momentum description for the Jade Dragons. Kirby was talking about how he feels that his team's identity is early game aggression. Haven't had a chance to see that yet because it's been all Jade Dragons this game. One more Runic Bomb in pocket, this time Nika picking that one up. And they can walk that one immediately to the dual lane Phoenix. It's the only structure still left standing. Lasbra finds a taunt onto inbound. Most of the mobility of inbound has now been used. Ult from at Lasbra available if needed, but not necessary because the pickup from Nika, the root from Mike, it's all good to set up for the Dragons.
And you don't want to lose your support before the siege. That means this defense is pretty much dead. Runic Bomb down. Third Phoenix falls, but right side bird is spawning in here shortly, so it looks like the Jade Dragons have something else to do around this base. They're not going to go back. They're going to pick up some farm, maybe grab some buffs in the meantime, and then thwart another siege over on the right side of the map before they go in for the end call. But make no mistake, if the Gilded Gladiators step up a little too far, if Nika's able to dish up one more pull, they could be looking at end territory. That Titan is not going to live that much longer with no extra towers to give it some HP.
Keep your eyes on Cure Me with Fear No Evil. Could turn a team fight. As Mid Phoenix respawns, immediately falls back to the ashes. Nika desperate to find a pick for his squad, or maybe just buy some time because the right Phoenix is now respawning for the Gilded Gladiators. That one will fall just as quickly as it spawns back in as well. 2 autos from Vote is all that's needed. And the Dragons, full control of the map, all 3 birds down. But only a minute 15 left on fire. Surely it looks like the Jade Dragons no longer want to push this siege. Instead, we'll head back and spend up some of that golden pocket.
Yeah, I suppose this is the objective smart call, but I don't know if it's the one I'd make. I think I would just step up and see if we could find a pick, but you are just asking to lose relics for free in doing so. It is just pretty much guaranteed win. You grab the Oni Fury, you go back for EFG, you push in for the win. It's as simple as it gets, but with the lead that the Jade Dragons have, I think they probably could have sat around for a bit and see if a couple more free kills would have went into their lap. We are borderline 20,000 gold, just about. Like, it's getting to that point.
We were just at 10.
Yeah, we're getting to unlosable territory.
We were just at 12.
Yeah, and we're going to be at 20 after an Oni Fury and after these birds drop one more time. So you got time. Lasbro's going to stick around, see if he can find a 1v1. These are the kind of plays that I'm thinking you can make. Lasbro could blink in, misses 2, misses 1, ult, jump out, use all of his relics, and die. And the Gladiators would be like, well, that bought us some time. That's like the best case scenario. You're not making a rush for EFG when the base is this broken. It's just not possible.
Jade Dragons. Fire Giant has worn off. but not immediately heading toward the Fire Giant pit. I don't think Nika had an opportunity to even go back to base yet. He had like 2,000 plus gold in pocket before all that. Now sitting at 3K. He can just buy an elixir if he wants to, but he might not get the opportunity to do so if the Dragons decide they want to end the game here. Scary D and inbound. Got to find a strong defense themselves. Neither of them want to get picked out, but it might just be so. Scary D quickly will use beads as the push from Nika goes through, but that is now a huge defensive opportunity pulled away from the Gladiators.
I want to make an observation here if I have time. If they go in for the end, I definitely won't have time. It looks like Nika's trying to do so. He's going to tank it up, and he wants to pull Scary D in again.
Scary D able to get away. Lasper goes at the back, throws one back with his ultimate. Kirby to the back line, fear no evil. Votes down to half HP, death from above, doing some okay damage to Darkness, but it's still just not enough. It's turned right back to inbound Scary D. To the backline to find Vote, but the silence is there to stop Scary D from going any further. PBM puts him down. The frontliners of the Gladiators off the map. It's just down to the damage dealers, but the health bars on the Dragons are a bit low to keep this siege up.
But Nika backs finally upgrades the teleport. That's what I wanted to say. He's got the gold for it, and he's going to do it. Nika surges forward, and it looks like the Jade Dragons want to go for an end, but their health bars aren't looking that good.
Nika just misses Kirby with the push. PBM less than a quarter HP, forced out from the combo by Stewart. The Jade Dragons, without the sustain of Fire Giant they'd had prior, no way for them to heal back up during this fight. They will bank on their first couple of kills of that engagement, but immediately have to send themselves back to regen their HP, reset their momentum. But Charlie, we're at the 20,000 mark now.
Yep.
Fire Giant will just be soloed by Vote. Lasbro will join him, give him a hand this time so it'll go down a little bit faster. Same with Dardes. They got just enough HP to do that. But now 4 Fire Giants for the Jade Dragons. 11-1, 20K gold. It's just a matter of time at this point for the Dragons to walk in this one.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. The Scary D and Nika neither had upgraded their teleport. And it's funny because you don't have to upgrade your teleport when A, you think your presence is not needed in a team fight, or B, you think the other team is so unthreatening that your team will never be losing so hard that they need your presence. So Scary D and Nika both had just not put gold into that relic. They're like, forget it, we're not going to need to teleport. Nika can just walk over. It's not like anyone's going to be rushing a team fight down. The Gilded Gladiators have not gotten aggressive at all the entirety of this game. And Scary D's like, I need items, man. If you guys need me to teleport, the fight's probably over anyway, so I'm just going to work on farming. Nika finally actually upgrades the teleport in that instance, but that just goes to show what kind of game this has been. Very little fighting, a lot of, hey, we showed up, we got our objective, we're leaving type of deal. And no real interference from the solo laners because Nika's already been there. He hasn't had to teleport. He just walked over. There was no threat. But all 3 Phoenixes are up. If the Gilded Gladiators wanted to come back in this game, if they were able to get their power spikes online, this would be the time. They need to group up and just leave it all on the table. So far, I have not seen an aggressive play from the Gladiators. When it's a true 5-on-5 setting, it's always been after the objective already goes down. There's one Phoenix, and there was no contention.
Enhanced Fire Giant does make these Phoenixes that much easier. Already weakened and now losing backdoor protections. Vote a couple autos is all he needs to take that one out. 1 bird left standing. Lasbro will make quick work of it. They got a little bit more HP up than some of the other ones, but at the end of the day, it's another 3 Phoenix wipe for the Jade Dragons. 33.5 minutes in, the Dragons are waiting for one opportunity, one pick,
one shot
to pull the Gladiators back, to force them out of this Titan room, because so far, I mean, the base defense by the Gladiators in the throne room is strong as long as somebody doesn't get grabbed by Nika or PBM, just like that's instance there.
It's just a timer. Someone's going to get picked up. This time it was Stewart, forced to death from above early. Nika takes some good damage, but he's going to be able to heal it back up, and now it's just a matter of time. PBM or Nika looking for the CC before this fight begins.
It's a good way to start. Nika caught out. Fear no evil. We'll get the beads away from Nika. Lasbro, though, has been waiting for his chance on the left side. He has not left that little wall right there. He's been standing by the Phoenix. The Gladiators have kept the Dragons out for only a moment. Lasbro goes in, immediately bursts it down to a 3rd HP. Kirmi as well just makes it back to the fountain. Nika misses out on the pickup, has the push for Snoopy. Aegis is fast, Boulder off the mark from Nika. Now Lasbro helps pick off Scary D for the first kill of the fight, but the Titan down to half HP. Nika can tank this one up. Snoopy low. One more shot on the Kirmi. One more shot on Snoopy, but Kirmi makes it back. Snoopy able to get the flicker through, but Lasbra dunks down in. Stewart picks up a double kill. The defense is still there for the Gladiators. PBM, Nika both low. PBM has gone out. Nika finds the dash through. Stewart wants to fish for that kill if he can, but he can just not grab the last shots he needs.
That Titan is getting so low, but you're right, J-Mac. The defense is there. The Gilded Gladiators,
Wow.
off the back of the Fountain. I'm going to say the Fountain's the MVP. How many times did we see a 1 HP target make it back into Fountain, heal up, and join the fight once again? Stewart was able to claim 2 kills there, which is big. I mean, you're adding 2 more to the title. Now you got 3 total here for the Gilded Gladiators, but what kind of play can you make here? There's but one. That play where you sit back in Titan room and keep healing up does not work anymore. The Gilded Gladiators have to get aggressive. They have to fight outside of their base. Where are they going to bring the fight to is the question. You got Vote, another 10 seconds. Darda has another 2. And the Jade Dragons are grouped up. They can play this as slow as they want. And they can go for EFG. But when they storm in, you lose track of one member of the Jade Dragons, your Titan's dead. Any one member, even PBM has the damage to end if given the opportunity. They're going to have to either ward up or just set up an ambush somewhere. So far, it seems like they're just going to be sitting around these birds.
I think Mike can definitely do it if he gets a runic bomb in pocket to try and deal with it. The Jade Dragons, let's just go for one more fire giant for the team. Nothing the Gilded Gladiators can really do about it. They can't even step out of their base at this point with how far up the minion waves are pushed. Lasbro's chilling out on the left side of the map as fire goes down one more time. And it's only a matter of time before the Jade Dragons, honestly, just W key up into the throne room. With beads down on the carries, maybe you wait the 20 or so seconds, let Dardas in, let Lasbra in. They're full build. They're buying elixirs. They're buying damage pots. They have the damage to kill Titan. A less disciplined team, and that being me, I'm walking in, I'm pressing beads, and I'm just dropping my whole kit if I'm the Dragons.
I mean, my play is, hey, if you know the beads are down, Kirmi should have went in already. Vote has no relics for 20 seconds. You are just wasting time here. And vital HP on that Titan. That could be healing up. Already the siege begins. Inbound's getting low, but Vote's gone!
Snoopy and Stu, they combo. Vote is out of the fight. The Jade Dragons, they've almost lost Dardas as well. Now it's just Lasbro over here on the left side of the map. The mid Phoenix is respawn. Still standing, though. Mike has to drop a runic bomb in order to make sure it goes down. Right side Phoenix respawned and dropped as well. Left side Bird alive. The Gladiators defend against the Jade Dragons. But that's all they've been able to do so far, Charlie. It's just been defend their base against the Dragons. How much longer do the Gladiators have to defend before the Jade Dragons just get impatient?
Well, I think they just got impatient there. Me and you both said it. Vote had no relics. They could have waited. They went in anyways, and they end up losing, 1 life, which isn't the biggest deal, especially when you still got 2 Phoenixes down. So that Titan is not getting any healthier. It will not regen HP, so you don't have to worry about that. But the Gilded Gladiators still don't have any room to push out. They need to wipe at least 3 before they're able to push out of their base and sort of feel safe not knowing if their Titan is going to be ganked or not. Lasbro's been doing this a lot, just sitting around waves, trying to see if he can find any 1v1s, but no one's taken that so far. I'm willing to guess that no one on the side of the Gladiators has been past like that speed buff mark in like 15 minutes. It's been a while since they have stepped out of their base.
No, they're walking up, they're tapping the speed buff and pulling it back to base. We saw Snoopy just do it a moment ago with inbound. Said, hey man, we need this farm. We just can't farm it here.
Yep.
We need it back at our base where we know the Dragons aren't able to take it away. But 1 Phoenix still standing. Jade Dragons could elect to take that one down. Vote and Mike are on the way. No runic bomb. It'll be a slow push for Mike. And inbound walks up to Dardas. Forced to use the beads. Has to go away. Scary D to the back line. Does not find the stun on Dardas. It's immuned out by the ultimate. But Lasbra has nearly taken Snoopy off the board. Aegis by Snoopy is there, but the poison is better. But Kirmi has found Vote yet again. Dardas can't make it back in the base. The Gladiators are living through these engagements. They are finding their picks. It's a double for Kirmi. Scary D dashes out. Lasbra, a double of his own, but death from above on Stewart. Lasbra gone. Stu finds another pick. It's 3 for the Gladiators.
But the waves are already pouring in. Nika and PBM are able to group up and push these waves forward. They can't die very easily without a grouping here, so they're able to just keep the waves pushed up. That's what I'm talking about. I said if they killed 3, they'd be able to push out, and they did. But unfortunately, you killed the wrong 3. You have to kill the... If there's still some damage dealers around, maybe you could just step up to them, but these tanks are just too annoying. Fire minions are pouring in. PBM gets slowed, but he just jumps into Nika.
You're getting baited.
Yeah, the Titan is going to start taking some damage.
They're getting baited. Inbounds calling for the team saying, guys, what are you doing? Fire minions are here. Stewart goes back. If Stu doesn't back, that Titan is dead. Kirmi goes for a pick to try and offset the respawn timers, but he's rooted and slammed with a boulder. And Nika and PBM team up to take him down, delaying again the Titan.
That boulder that just killed Kirmi.
That would have killed Titan.
Could have killed Titan if they just used it, but...
Walk in and hit it, man.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Let me be clear. The Jade Dragons are not playing this end game very well. You do not throw a 20k gold lead. It's very hard to do. But the fact that it's taken this long to end goes to show how there's no reason Vote and Darty should be dying like this. I'm wondering if it's a lack of peel, if it's just good initiation from the Gladiators. It just seems like a little split up. The Gilded Gladiators are having some good engages, yes, but this game should have been over. That Titan needs one ability from just about anyone to end. I don't imagine it's going to happen again, but I could have just Caster's cursed it.
Dragons had a 12,000 lead the first time they pushed to the Titan. It's 25,000 now.
He's just going to go in.
Just jump past them. Blink over. Nope. Kill on Snoopy first.
Boulder.
Gotta make it easy. Boulder taps the Titan. PBM walks in. And the Jade Dragons, after what feels like 20 minutes of sieging this Titan, have finally closed out game number 1. Credit to them for finding their kill, but maybe bigger credit to the Gladiators for their resilience on these defenses, being able to find these picks. And maybe that's the true identity of the Gilded Gladiators. I mean, when you think about their qualification up until here, their matchup against the Niflheim Wargs, they're down 2-0 in a set, have a miracle base defense.